Hey everyone, welcome back to the Jury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast powered by DeerCast and Form Energy.
Oh, hold on. You're Tim Chelsvik. You have a Screamer Freedom in my mouth.
Uh-oh. He's getting a cold one. Got up out of his chair to go get a cold Screaming Freedom. Love the sound of freedom.
It's 4th of July, y'all.
Oh, man.
It's why we do what we do.
This year?
We have the freedom to do it.
That's true.
Nobody's looking for this, but we're going to do it anyways.
Did you see the WNBA? What's her name? Lobo, one of the former player, had a disagreement with one of the refs. And she was like, well, that's the thing that makes America great is that we can have these. She had to walk back her comment because it was too close to a certain politician's theme.
What? America's ridiculous.
Yep. Speaking of ridiculous, this year, I love 4th of July. I love fireworks. I love grilling out.
This sounds like you're going to be
American.
a communist here in a second.
I'm just going to wear, well.
You commie bastard.
I ordered myself. I've never been one of the guys that dresses up for 4th of July.
Usually you don't have a shirt on, so sure, yeah.
That's true.
Continue.
I bought a pair of bib overall shorts that are American flag themed.
So bib overall shorts. So really it's just, okay, I'm with you.
Yep.
Jean, made out of jean material.
Yep. Denim, some people call it.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, people knew what you're talking about. That's cool.
Tim.
So I've never been like the big fat party animal guy that shows up at a...
What? Yeah. I saw you drink 2 margaritas when Coondog was here.
I did. And you know what? It didn't touch me. I felt nothing.
I saw that the big light pole out in the parking lot was knocked over.
It moved. I was driving out and it moved like 13 feet out into the parking lot.
You hit drive instead of reverse.
Is there a difference?
Yes. But yeah, go on.
So yeah, anyways.
So you're going to be a party animal on 4th of July.
I'm going to look like a party animal.
I can't wait to see the post.
Sipping on a white wine spritzer.
Some side boob and nip slip coming out of it. Because I know you're still not going to wear a shirt.
Oh, you don't wear a shirt under.
I had a guy tell me they quit following you because you were in so many posts without your shirt on.
Yep. That's fine. I don't need them.
I got a kick out of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's something if you want to trim out some of your followers.
If I got on there without a shirt on, that would do it.
So white. Hurts my eyes.
Yeah. Little chubby, little white.
Just play with the warmth.
How do you think all the people at the community pool in our neighborhood feel?
Well, I'm sure you're not the only one.
Yeah, true.
I'm
actually in pretty good shape compared to most of the dads.
You know what? We're closer to 50 than we are anything else. I'm happy with where we are.
Yeah, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We got a BS episode.
We do.
People haven't already figured that out.
We got several topics.
We're probably going to piss some people off.
You think?
Yeah.
Let's do it then. Let's begin. This segment of 100% Wild is brought to you by Tracker Off-Road. On the trail, on the job, and on the hunt. Tracker Off-Road has you covered.
Okay, so let's talk about this mountain lion deal.
Yeah.
The background here is that a Missouri man killed a mountain lion, posted the pictures on social media.
Yeah.
And I think posting is kind of a big umbrella word. How he posted it is probably instructive as to what
I never could find the pictures. It's referenced in the article that I sent to our group chat or whatever about this. So it's Missouri hunter convicted of illegally killing mountain lion after travel nearly 800 miles. So it was from
after the mountain lion traveled 800 miles.
Not the guy.
Yeah.
So the mountain lion came from Nebraska. And it made me think of Cody Sherrick, one of our Jury Outdoors team members.
It could have been one he had on trail camera.
Yeah, he's got him on trail camera all the time. It's the spookiest looking thing. And he said that his deer hunting went downhill.
Can you imagine? We already have a hard enough time killing whitetails, but
when
then
you
to
have
have
an apex predator on your ground, actually killing everything.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Yeah. So this is what I get a kick out of. So, here in Missouri, that's where we're based. This is from Iron County, Missouri. So if you know anything about Iron County, I mean, that's That's like some redneck shit down there, basically.
Yeah, that's in the Ozarks.
And I thought, well, so this guy, I haven't seen the pictures. I don't want to judge, but I, in my mind, think I already got a picture of what this guy is.
Yeah, the way the pictures have been described is that they were hero shots, like posing proudly with the animal. And whether or not it was self-defense or just a stupid, illegal decision.
So let's go through that part, because what is the legality of killing mountain lions in Missouri currently?
It's kind of like castle doctrine. It's like you have the right to defend yourself. If you feel like you are threatened or your loved one is or someone is threatened, you can take it. It's a defensive action.
What about cattle or your pet?
I think you have to get a depredation permit, I think.
Okay, so there's that element of it. What I read in the article, the way I understood it is that this cat was walking away. The mountain lion was walking away when he shot it, and it was maybe a juvenile.
It sounded like a juvenile male.
Yeah.
Which we know they obviously traveled 800 plus miles. They look for kind of establishing a home corridor where there's food and cover and all the things that they look for. But you shoot an animal that's, and you can tell based on forensics.
Oh yeah.
The orientation of the animal.
You're not going to get away with anything.
The hunter. So sounds like an illegal kill.
So fair or foul? We've played this game kind of before. Fair or foul?
Yes.
What would you call it?
Sounds like foul. And if the subsequent social posts were hero style photos, if it were me and I felt like my kids were in danger or I was in danger, I would be measured in how I spoke about it. I wouldn't be proud of it.
On a press tour?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be taking laps on social media with hero pics.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I can't fathom it because everything we do, we're trying to like find every nook and cranny of law when it comes to hunting and make sure we're following it. And then people slip up, people make mistakes.
Yeah. And
that's like my biggest fear is an accidental mistake of some boneheaded, like, oh man, I just didn't realize it, whatever it would be. And so I think about it from that regard. If I'm in that scenario and you see a mountain lion and it's, I don't know how far away it was, say it's 50 yards from you and it's obviously a mountain lion, do you shoot it or do you what poses a threat? Is it a threat in that moment? Maybe not. Or is it a threat that it's on your property and you're going to be walking in and out in the dark and what is the true threat? So, I mean, I'm with you. I call foul. I certainly, if I would have been in that scenario and shot it, I would have called, and maybe did, but I would have called the game warden immediately and said, here's what's going on. And you may still be ticketed, but it seems like it feels different than posting hero pictures and, on this press tour about the fact that you killed a mountain lion, which is just boneheaded.
And we should caveat all this with that people are considered innocent until proven guilty.
Absolutely.
So this guy has to have his day in court. He has to, go present all the evidence, and we don't know what his defense attorney is.
Well, he's convicted. Wouldn't that mean he's already?
Well, then he's.
Yeah, then he's had his day in court.
Then somehow the evidence wasn't good enough.
So real quick, this article is from KSDK.com, local news here in St. Louis. Researchers had high hopes for the 4-week-old mountain lion kitten they ear tagged in 2023. They plan to revisit it a year later for a years-long mountain lion study in Nebraska. A year and a half later, they'd learned the mountain lion was illegally shot and killed nearly 800 miles away in Missouri. So, Joseph Licklider recently pleaded guilty to killing the state law protected animal in Iron County. So that gives you it's a state law protected.
Yeah.
So there's that. He previously told the Missouri Department of Conservation in November that he shot the mountain lion from a deer hunting tree stand while it was walking away from him. MDC determined the killing wasn't justified for numerous reasons, including photos Licklider, if I'm saying his name incorrectly, sorry, posted on Facebook showing him and others posing with the mountain lion after it was killed. As part of the guilty plea agreement, he was forced to pay $2,000, surrender his hunting rifle, and suspended his hunting license for a year. So I mean, that gives you a little more.
It's been adjudicated. Yeah. Thanks for bringing the facts to that. I was surprised because I did read that. It's just been a minute. I was surprised at how low the penalty was.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't seem like it's a detriment, to someone doing that. Now, some may say, hey, losing your hunting license for a year. I don't know. That wouldn't make you a felon or anything like that then, would it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because then that does come with different types of consequences. Yeah. But, in general, I feel like it's a real tough one. Like I said, it's good to get this out there. And so people know, like, hey, if a mountain lion shows up, don't be shooting it unless it's about to kill it, come at you or your kids or your family or maybe your pets or whatever. But it is pretty amazing that it's so protected. I understand there's only probably a handful in the entire state, maybe one handful. You hear of a couple, oh, I saw one here, I saw one there. And, you never know if it's hell. Yeah. I think Ben said him and his wife saw one time.
Who knows? He
so
could be lying.
So, there's not many of them. So I get it from that perspective. It's protected, but this is an apex predator on your ground. It would definitely give you the freaking heebie-jeebies about being out there, walking to your stand in the middle of the dark. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like hearing that growl from above you, knowing it could see you and jump on your ass at any moment. Like, I don't know if you saw it while you're deer hunting. I guess my point in saying this is I can kind of see this guy's, like, hey, I saw it, I shot it. I kind of see that. Yeah. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm saying I'm sure that's a tough spot to be in, having a mountain lion on your property.
Yeah, yeah, and I would hope that in the process of that trial there's some context given. Like,
we're making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, I'd like to think that if you or I you're out with your kids or I'm out with my kids, that people would have you understand that your Papa Bear mentality is way higher, and getting out of those woods is a little kind of a different scenario than just being on your own. But there's also this mentality, and this is going to hit close to home for you, Matt, where people see a snake and it's immediately a venomous snake. Or no, they say it's poisonous. Like it's like a poison frog.
I just think it's a snake. I don't know if it's poisonous or not, because even though I'm an Eagle Scout, I don't know snakes. So
you see,
any snake's going to be a dead snake.
Any snake post on social media, people say, what kind of snake is this? And it's like a corn snake or a garter snake or whatever. And then all of a sudden you see it's a copperhead. It's a timber rattler. It's a
this is coming from a guy who's routinely picking snakes up on his runs. So, yes. I mean, I'll see a post and get a freaking nightmare for the night. I don't like snakes.
But it's the same mentality that's like, oh, geez, I got to kill, it's a predator. I got to kill that. I don't know this guy's mindset, but I know there is a mindset out there where if people see any animal that fits into a certain category in their mind, it's bad.
Now, who knows? Maybe his mentality, obviously the DNR interviewed him and they went through this whole process, and, who knows? Maybe he was like, oh no, man, I thought I'm going to see this thing. I got to kill it. Who knows what?
Yeah.
And they're saying it didn't pose any danger. I don't know how far away it was from the guy. It could have been a couple hundred yards away. Who knows? But I'm just saying, I think you would have to think about it, or maybe not. Maybe it's just an instinct for him, and he should have thought about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. He's thinking about it now.
And maybe it's no different than, hey, you see a deer 1 minute after legal shooting light, you don't shoot. I mean, I don't have any thought about that. Never. As soon as legal shooting light's over,
you're just done.
Put the weapon down. It's done. Whatever. Yeah. Usually it's before legal shooting light because of our cameras. And I never think twice about it. So maybe this would be the same way. You see it and you're like, oh, well, I can't kill it.
The other bias that we have is that we do this for a living. So it's top of mind for everything. We filter everything through this lens. But if you're just someone that's, just wants to go up and try to shoot something, bring home some meat, and you see another something in the woods.
I've had at times before where a coyote came out deer hunting, and camera guy's like, shoot him. And I'm like, shit, I don't remember if I have the proper license, so I don't even pick up the gun. And then it's like, yes, I need to shoot this coyote, but I'm not gonna unless I remember if I bought the right tag. Now I do just every year, just buy the tag.
Yeah.
Or the license rather, just to make sure I can. But 10 years ago or whenever this happened, and I used to not automatically buy it. And so I'm just like, oh, I better not, because I don't really remember.
I was hunting a property. I kept seeing something. I was hunting near a pond. It was early season. I kept seeing something moving the water, and I couldn't see through the trees 100%. And eventually some river otters came out of the pond. And I was like, I would love to have a river otter pelt, but I legit didn't know what the
fur bearer's
season
license
was. Well, by the time I looked, I got into MDC. Yeah, the opportunity, but apparently having a hunting license was enough to take one. So I could have shot one, but I took the time to go through and just check the legalities before I
think about, like, we sit in hunting camp, and from time to time, a debate will come up, and it's like, you say it's like you got to wear orange on
one of the youth seasons,
or whatever, or something more with more of a caveat, like you're bow hunting. It's a bow hunting only public land or whatever, and maybe you don't have to wear orange, or it's like, I don't know, and you get into a debate, and luckily all this stuff is online. So you pull it up and read the regs.
Yeah.
Think about how often maybe it doesn't to you, but I mean, that happens, I feel like, a couple times a year in hunting camp, where we're just like, actually, no, I think this is it. And there's confusion about the rule.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be,
we were, when we were up in Canada, Keith Beasley had a question for one of the conservation officers that we ran into, about transporting meat, and the conservation officer didn't know. He's like, oh, that's not really part. Like, I'm just concerned about if you have your license when you're out here right now. And even they didn't know. And it was related to fish, forest, and wildlife. Well,
there's so many, you'd like to say, I know it forward and backwards, the rules and regs, but there's a lot of caveats.
And they change. I put in for the Missouri elk and the Missouri bear season, the very limited seasons that we have. And I didn't get it. But I know that if I go into that, I have to really read up, because the deer hunting
areas and
the deer hunting stuff is kind of second nature. Try to brush up every year just as things change. But they're like, do you have to end right at sunset, or do you have a half hour after sunset? And all those little nuances that you can never just take for granted.
Sportsman Channel is your home for Winchester and Drury's natural born. Join the cast on some of the most hard-hitting action on outdoor TV. See the full schedule at thesportsmanchannel.com. So you mentioned, we talked off air a little bit about this. One thing first that Jim Richmond was saying, Bill Cooper got a tag. He's as a writer for DeerCast, so that's awesome.
You're going to go try to kill a bear, yeah.
But you were mentioning something about anti-hunters going into these draws and flooding it with buying licenses, or the opportunity to buy.
Yeah, they're
preference points or whatever.
They're gaming the system
just to flood the system and overwhelm it, so that maybe they get, if there's only 6 tags, I don't know how many there are for elk now, but it used to be like 6, I think.
Yeah, I'd have
and
to.
If they pull one of them, I would think that'd be a win, because obviously they're not going to go hunt.
Oh, it's huge, and they're not doing it in Missouri alone. I think Wisconsin. I think they're kind of figuring out that, hey, for these very limited hunt draws, we can go in and we can apply as residents and take a chance away for someone who would go out and try to hunt and kill one of these animals. We can take it away for a very minimal cost. It's
$10 or whatever.
Yeah, it's $10 to apply for the bear, $10 to apply for the elk in Missouri. So they put in, and there's maybe, I don't know, 200 bear tags that they'll give, trying to kill maybe 40 bears. So 200 out of all the guys that are applying for it in Missouri, that's like, just like you said, one person gets that, and that's a huge blow to someone who really legitimately wants to try to hunt a bear.
I will say the only thing that makes me feel good inside about it is that they're funding hunting and conservation.
They're pitching,
even if it's $5 or $10. There's 100 of them that do it. It's funny to me.
It's like the inverse of Ron Swanson going into that Whole Foods and asking for the vegetarian bacon. and just like throwing it in the garbage every time. That's what they're doing to us. And so I don't know if, I was trying to think like, how do you try to work against that? Do you have to like go back and find someone's, like make sure that they have hunting licenses purchased for a certain number of years?
The government could do, well, I guess they could do whatever, but you wouldn't think they would go
hire me to like track them down on social media, and I'll be the arbiter.
Do what they do to us and just be like, you're killing
you monster.
you're killing the hopes of hunters out there.
How dare you? You've stolen my dreams.
Yeah.
So that sucks. Like, especially if someone's real, like I would love to kill an archery elk in my home state of Missouri.
That I would love to do. The bear, again, the bear thing doesn't float my boat.
Scares you.
Yeah, I'm scared of bear. But no, the archery elk, I would love to do.
Oh, man.
In Missouri, where I wouldn't have to fly 4 hours to drive to. But actually, a little update on that. I did get invited to go back to Idaho.
Really?
I'm working on it right now. It's the week after I was there last year.
Okay.
Which is actually a better week. So I'm working to see if I can make it happen or not. I don't know that I can yet, but I did just yesterday.
You need someone to sub in for you.
Mm-hmm.
Something doesn't work out for you. You feel like maybe there's someone who's better.
Hey, listen, that's definitely a better shot. I proved that last year. You killed your bear. I did not kill the elk.
I think my bear was closer than your elk.
Still should have been dead. But no, anyway, so we'll see. I'll have some updates on that. The one thing that I got drawn for Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it briefly. Cody Thurston had invited me out, and you had wanted to go. He said Matt can come. I didn't want to get into that. I thought it was kind of rude of Cody, but anyways, I drew that tag, early muzzleloader, or you can use that muzzleloader tag during their rifle season, which is like early December.
Okay.
And I thought, oh man, the last 3 or 4 years, I've had an excuse to be not in Missouri for the first week or 2 of the season. Mm-hmm. And I always say to myself, it's always hot. It's always, they're never going to move, blah, blah, blah. And they are always daylighting on this one particular food plot. And I actually got a deer, I think he should be back this year, that I want to kill. And I said to myself, before any of this happened, like, I'm just going to focus on Missouri this year. Then I drew Kansas. Then I got invited to.
Now you're tested.
And now I got to figure it out. So I thought about it. It's like, well, I leave if I were to go on this elk hunt, it's the 20th through the 24th. So like leave on the 19th. And I'm thinking, well, that leaves the 15th. 16, 17, 18.
Don't do it.
And then I could leave and be gone 20. And I'm thinking, my wife's not going to let me leave and hunt.
See ya, honey.
All these
during
nights.
The school year for the kids.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but early season Missouri, I would only be getting home at like 10 o'clock. Yeah. At night. Uh-huh. Like there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. Then go on this hunt. And then meanwhile, like Cody's talking about these giants in Kansas, that early season velvet, and all. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to miss that. So first world problems, I know. And maybe I won't be able to go on the Idaho thing, but it sure sounds appealing to try to get some redemption.
Yeah.
And revenge.
Because that elk survived.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They saw it.
Yeah. They've had pictures. They've had encounters. He's alive. My disappointment is alive as well. The people's disappointment in me. I just proofed the episode, the Bovadis episode. It'll be episode 3, so it'll air the 3rd week of July. And I had to relive it again. The timing's weird because then Clayton, the guide, called me the same day I proofed it.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Hey, I got an opportunity."
Full circle.
Like, don't do it.
That's tough. Yeah, because you want to go, and also. You got that stink in your nostril still.
Yeah. And I know I'm going to go and that damn deer in Missouri is going to walk daylight and I'm going to miss my chance.
Well, but you're not an elk hunter. Like,
no, I'm not a hunter at all, Tim. That's kind of proven that. I'm pretty shitty.
You've hunted elk. It's like, I'm not a waterfowl hunter, but I've hunted not an elk hunter.
Obviously, without a guide, I'd be up shit creek without a paddle.
But I'm sure you learned some stuff from last year.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I'd like to have an opportunity to go back for sure. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's a little side note. We were talking a little bit before we jumped on. you were saying that you had just purchased a new Matthews bow, a Lift X coming in here in another day or two.
Yeah.
That's exciting. You're going to love that bow. And then you were talking about you're a little worried because you got a taxidermy bill from Soph coming in soon.
And she's not going to pay that. She's going to expect me to foot the bill.
Shithead.
Both my kids are unemployed.
Same. Worthless.
Not a great look as a dad.
Yeah. I'm trying to, the labor laws just
draconian,
holding us down.
Thank you.
I'd like my kid to be doing a little get up on that roof and fix the shingles, bud.
Read some Upton Sinclair. Let's go.
Yeah. But no, I got Cameron's back. So we went Forrest. So we were at for Father's Day weekend, we went down to the lake and we spent it with mom and dad. And just so happens Forrest and his wife Shayna came down. And so they had their own Airbnb, and it ended up we're like, no, I'll stay here with us. And we had a great time. Well, Forrest brought Cameron's deer mount.
Oh, cool.
And surprised him with it. So we got a picture on the dock with dad and Forrest and me and Cameron and deer. And so fast forward, we get home, and I had we got a little like a dining room area that no one sits in ever.
Sure.
You know,
just for decoration.
One of those rooms that's right and takes up a lot of space and is unused.
Yeah.
And so we had just cleared off all the walls because we were getting ready to repaint. And I had a couple screws in, so I took it. One was perfectly centered in this wall, and it has nothing else in it. Meanwhile, I don't have any deer mounts in our house. They're all here at the studio and in my office. And the only thing I got there is the elk I killed with Austin from Wild Country. Yeah. And so anyways, I hung his deer head there just because I wanted to get it off the ground so we don't mess it up or whatever.
I think I know where this is going.
So I kind of made light of it. And I went and got Miranda. I go, hey, come here. I want to show you something. And she looked at it. She's like, kind of the head tilt or whatever. Like, ugh. And then I brought Cameron in there. I was like, Cameron, look, I hung your deer mount. And he's like, now this looks good. He's like, Mom, I think we should hang more deer heads here. And I was like, yeah, Mom, I think we should hang more deer heads here.
That's a good, you know what?
She's been saying no to me for 12 years. She's not going to say no to him at all.
Oh, geez.
So it hung there for a week or two. But then, Sunday, I went in the kids' room and I kind of re-hung everything. Okay. And so I had his first deer, he's a euro from his first buck.
Okay.
And his first turkey, which was a beautiful. We got the fan and on a skull hooker, and the euros on a skull hooker as well. And so I put all that stuff up. I had a Ryan Kirby picture like the one you got with me and Cameron or whatnot. And I hung the deer mount in his room. And he's like, man, it's a shame we didn't keep that doe. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, these are all the things I've killed. He's like, I killed that doe last year with my bow. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, well, we usually don't mount does.
Yeah, he's gonna need to get a second job, like another job, if he's gonna want everything.
I was like, we're running out of room, bud. The room's not very big. So I thought that was funny. But the deer mount is still in the home. It's not in the den or the dining room anymore, but it is in his room.
Okay.
I got a kick out of it. So I just did this Sunday, and then I asked him. So Monday, he goes to sleep, and so Monday morning I asked him. I was like, "How'd you sleep in here?" Because I just kind of thought like this might creep him out a little bit. And he's like, "Well, once my eyes adjusted to the dark, he's like, I did get a little creeped out about that skull because it's looking right at him." And he's like, and then I kind of got creeped out by that fan. He's like, it's so big. And then I started thinking about how big the turkey had to have been, because look how big the fan is. And then he's like,
this kid lives in terror.
Oh, believe me, a lot of anxiety. And then he's like, they looked over to the right, that deer mount. He's like,
it's a trifecta here.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like, I was like, well, did you get used to it? He's like, well, I fell asleep.
Eventually.
Like, well,
traumatized, but still slept.
Guess what? I'm not moving it.
Well, Bo had a similar reaction. So I finally finished fleshing and preserving the bear hide, and I hung it up I'm not bragging, we have a split foyer house. Ooh. And a chandelier in that foyer.
Dang.
So I hung the bear hide.
It's the only And I started to get fancy.
Sorry.
That's a big ding on my personality. A lot of people have too fancy. But like above the front entryway, that was a perfect spot. So Sophie helped me kind of center it up, and it's heavy up there with a ladder, trying to tack it all up, and every time I try to run a screw into it, the hair would downy hair would twist into it. Ugh. I was
How's
saying
it look?
some choice words. It's not bad. It's not bad.
How's your wife feel about it?
Well, that's the point here. She's okay with it. Bo is still creeped out because as it was curing, I shoved some foam inside the head to give it some shape. And so it's laying, tail up, with the head facing down. So when you come in, it's, you're looking up at the front legs hanging
Instead
down.
of the butt, you're looking at the face. Got it.
Exactly. Bo's still a little creeped out by it.
So that same area you're talking about, I'm not as blessed to have a split
someday,
but I do have, when you walk in the entryways, it's a 2-story house. And so the entryway is kind of open, and that's where the only place I could have put the elk. No. If it would have fit in the office, I would have put it here because she wouldn't have let, but I'm like, look, I got nowhere to go with it. It's going here.
That's a majestic.
She actually doesn't mind that. Okay. It looks awesome.
Maybe if you shot bigger deer, she'd be okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a window right above it. So every morning the sun is coming in that way. Yeah. It is pretty. It looks great. Probably needs to be dusted every once in a while. But when I put it up, my brother-in-law Ryan helped me, and we had a ladder kind of lean. It was such a jerry rig of us. Like you're talking about a bear hide being heavy. That freaking elk mount was unruly trying to get it up there, and we screwed it. So the first one, it was a little too far to the right by maybe like 3 or 4 inches, but it looked not
you
centered.
Can tell. Yeah.
So and of course it's not like it's straight on look. It's got, like most mounts, it's kind of got a neck tilt to it.
Sneak.
Yeah. So then we screwed another hole and moved it over, and
got like a perforated line behind it.
So I always said I was going to fix that. It's been 5 years and I've never fixed it. You just see the other hole there. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. Nobody's looking at that. They're going to be looking at that.
It'll be the next person that owns your house.
It's not coming down. I tell you that. I'm not moving it.
There's been a few times where I've hung a mount on the wall and just kind of like slowly backed away with it, with my hands up, shielding my face in case. There's one night Beth and I heard a crash and I thought for sure someone's in my house to steal my fineries. Get the gun. Let's go.
The gun is the finery.
Right, that's the one thing of value. And I'm like creeping around. I can't find anything. The next morning, I noticed like, hey, where's the buck that was on the wall there? And it had fallen down at that split foyer. So it felt like a story and a half in our house down to the bottom, the lower level. And somehow it was still, it wasn't bad. Like it was, you could see some of the plaster where the horns were.
And if you hang it back up, no one's going to notice that.
Yeah, that's just top damage.
So when I hung cameras the other day, to center it where I wanted to put it, it wasn't in a stud. So I used a drywall screw and all that, and I put it in, and it started pulling out. It was just too heavy. I was like, well, I can't leave that in my son's room.
Even I have construction standards that.
Yeah. So I found the stud and I moved it like 4 inches to the left, and it's perfect now. But I'm thinking, man, if I would have left this and it would have fell in the middle of the
Scarred
night
for life. Yep.
Hunting's over.
Man, I Euro'd my bear skull. I started the process yesterday, and it got shipped to me, and it was cleaned out. Like there was no brain material. 90% of the flesh is gone, but I can only get so much done in camp there. So it had been like marinating in its own juices for a couple of weeks.
Hold on, I got one for this.
I think I'm going to throw up.
I've got a pretty strong stomach, but it was pushing me. And then, so I took it out to power wash it, and when you power wash it, stuff flies back at you. There's splash damage.
I can only imagine the rancid smell. I
don't normally burn plastic in we've got like a fire pit in our backyard.
It's called a burn barrel.
Burn plastic. I can't afford a barrel. It's just an area. Someday I'll get a barrel. But I threw the Ziploc bags and stuff and I was like, this just needs to be incinerated.
Screw those on.
So, I
can't take the smell.
Yeah. Next up is the hydrogen peroxide gel.
Mm.
Hopefully that knocks out some of the stank.
Yeah, try sneaking that one into the house.
Yeah, I'm going to try to if it doesn't smell. And ozone it. I'll try hitting it with some ozone too.
There you go.
We'll see.
Well, that's I think that's enough for today, don't you?
Yeah, we've done enough damage.
Hey, if you're out shooting firecrackers, 2 words of advice. 1, be careful so you don't lose a finger because it could be your trigger finger.
It's true.
You're going to need it. 2, it's probably going to be dry. All right. And unfortunately, this comes from experience. Make sure you're pointing it the right way. Got a bottle rocket.
Did you hurt someone?
I lit a field up. Me and my cousin Justin. I was out there and I had what's the Roman candle?
Candles?
I had a Roman candle.
They're designed for shooting.
This is probably 20 years ago. I had the Roman candle, and of course my cousin and I were in charge of all the fireworks for the party.
20 years ago, so 26, 25
I'm sure I was
years old.
drinking.
Okay.
No kids, no wife, no responsibility.
No sense.
So no sense is where we're going. So I hold the Roman candle out, and the very first one shoots down behind me. I held it up the wrong way. And it lit the field on fire.
Hey guys, check this out.
I mean, I almost got my foot, which was, of course, in flip-flops.
Oh, sure, yeah. 4th of July wear.
Me and my cousin Justin are out there stomping this thing out.
In flip-flops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So be smart. And I don't think there was any type of like warnings of like no, like
like burn.
Yeah, nothing like that. It was just dry out, and sure enough, she went up quick. So we're out there.
There's an unprescribed
Where do
burn.
you hear the crowd starting to go?
Oh no!
You're like, oh shit, this is getting out of hand quick.
But that's like deep frying a turkey. The reason 4th of July is special and the fireworks are incredible is because they could hurt you real bad.
There's always a risk you're gonna blow a finger off or light a field on fire.
Yeah. So if you can come back to July 5th with all 10 fingers.
Yeah. I would recommend waiting to drink. I mean, you know this. I would recommend waiting to drink after you shoot the fireworks. The problem is that most of the time you're drinking throughout the day and you don't shoot the fireworks, as you know,
I know,
till 10, 9 or whatever.
Room temperature Mick Ultra and a straw and the
that you
umbrella
nursed for
in
4
it.
hours.
And
this is
salt
good.
the rim of the plastic cup that it's in. That's how
you're
you do
taking
it.
your beer out of the can or the bottle. You're pouring it into styrofoam with ice. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, I mean, no ice. You
No
don't want it to
judging.
be cold and like hurt your teeth. You know I have sensitive teeth.
I know. No.
An office deep
That's what
cut,
she
by
said.
the way.
Okay. Anyways. All right. Well, everybody enjoy the 4th of July. Remember, don't light the field on fire. Point the Roman candle the right way. I mean, I know it's obvious, but
We're still
it can happen to anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
and it has.
To me.
All right. Happy Independence Day, everybody.
All right. Until next time. Peace out.
DeerCast movement prediction and mapping tools combined with our exclusive virtual rain gauges gets you ahead of your game.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by DeerCast Maps, waypoints, weather, virtual rain gauges, and more. Every tool you need to get ahead of your game.